And welcome to the Ben and Bryan Show. My name is Bryan, and that happens to be
Ben.
Yeah. See, now we're going a little different direction. It is Christmas in July, Miami Dolphins style. But anyways, so on this episode, we're going to be talking about the top 10 kickers in pro fantasy football this season for 2020. So let's get right into it, Ben. How about you go ahead and start off with your number 10 kicker in the NFL right now?
I'd just like to say this is a lame-ass introduction. Wasn't even cool at all. I fuck with you. So my 10th pick, I'll just start off with this little gem for you guys. I decided to make my top 10 list with the kickers, with the teams that I think are going to be scoring the most touchdowns, obviously. More touchdowns, more extra points. But also the fact that they're going to be marching down towards the red zone a lot. So field goals are going to rack up points too. I think the fact that, you're not going to always cap off your drive with a touchdown. So these teams will definitely drive in the red zone consistently. But starting off with number 10, I got old Jason Myers from the Seattle Seahawks. And the reason why I have him there is basically because, Seattle is going to drive down the field a lot. They're going to be in the red zone quite often. Of course, twice a year, they're not going to seal the deal against my Niners. That's why they have to have a lot of field goals.
Sounds good. For my 10th pick, I'm going with Brandon McManus from the Denver Broncos. The reason why I'm picking him, he's not even on the top 10 for the fantasy football focus or whatever. But to me, like every year that I've seemed to have him, he always manages to get me at least 15 points a game at some points, sometimes 12. But if, you're in a pinch and you really need a decent kicker that's, accurate, and he can kick from quite a distance or whatever with the thin air in Denver, I mean, you can't go wrong with him. So that's why I'm picking him at number 10. And I also think that, Drew Lock is going to be able to get them into red zone a lot more and possibly in scoring distance a lot too. So look for him to be a number 10 kicker this year. Back to you, Ben.
And to me, my number 9 pick is Greg the Leg ZUERLEIN, Dallas. Greg the Leg is consistently a good kicker. He's been in the league for quite a bit. To go with all my other shit, Dallas is going to drive to the end, getting a lot of extra points and field goals, and I have him 9th.
Pretty good pick. For my 9th pick, I'm taking Jake Elliott from the Philadelphia Eagles. With Carson Wentz coming back from an injury, I think he's going to be able to at least give them into field goal range quite often this season. I don't look for them to be like a high-power, high-offense type team or whatever, but I look for them to be more consistently into the field goal range. So I'm picking him as my number 9 kickers. Back to you, dipshit.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and say number 8, Matt Prater from the Detroit Lions. I think with Matty Stafford coming back, it might not be the full bill of health. I don't know. Back injury is hard to come back from. But I think it'll be good enough to get in the red zone. But they'll have to rely on Prater to get some field goals for them. When Kenny Galladay isn't racking up some yards, getting stopped short of the touchdowns.
Pretty good pick. So for my number 8 pick, I'm going with Josh Lambo. He's always been really consistent for the last few years. With them not having Phillip Rivers there, the quarterback, they're going to probably depend a lot more on field goals. Depending on if they have, whoever they're starting as quarterback this year, whether it be Herbert or Tyrod, it really depends. I mean, they're going to probably be kicking a lot more field goals this season. So that's why I have him up at number 8. So back to you, Ben.
Pretty good pick. Psych! Number 7, I got Zane Gonzalez from the Arizona Cardinals. Same reasons as my other guys. Gonna be in the red zone, getting kicked field goals. Not gonna get many touchdowns twice a year against the 49ers when we fucking stop them. Yeah, I'm gonna keep talking that shit. Gonna keep talking that shit, saying that the Niners gonna fuck everybody up.
Okay. All right, for my number 7 pick is kind of like what you said before with Matt. It's going to be Matt Prater with the Detroit Lions. Depending on how Matt Stafford does this season, if he comes back healthy, I think they're going to probably rely a little more on their kicker this season. Depending on if Devontae Swift is a breakout running back for their team, it just really depends. So I think that he'll probably, pick up where he left off. He's always one of those kickers that you definitely want on your team. So, I mean, if he's there, pick him up. I mean, with your last few rounds or whatever. So, definitely a good clutch kicker. So,
all right, my number 6 is Matt Gay from the Bucks. He was top 10 last season. I think without blind old Winston, they'll be sniffing the red zone more often, therefore equating to field goals and extra points for this guy.
Okay, so for my number 6, I'm going with Chris Boswell for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He came into his own last season pretty well, so they relied on him a lot last year with Mason Rudolph as their quarterback. So with Big Ben coming back, he's still coming off of an injury, so I don't look for him to be putting up a lot of points when it comes to touchdown-wise. So I look for them to get a lot more field goals this season with Boswell as their kicker. So that's what I'm picking, and back to you, dipshit.
Back to me. So I'm gonna go ahead and say my number 5 pick is Brandon McManus. Denver, you touched base on it earlier. Where I think they're gonna be sniffing the red zone quite often with the triple threat of receivers they got, and Drew Lock coming in on his own. Quadruple threat. I cannot leave out Noah Fant. So you got Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, KJ Hamler, Noah Fant. You also got Melvin Gordon. You also have Philip Lindsay. How can you not go wrong with that? You don't always have to throw all the ball. Keeps his arm fresh. They'll be marching down the fucking field like no other. I'm looking at Denver to have a very up year this season, and also up year for Brandon McManus.
That's a good pick. For my number 5 pick is Mr. Robbie. My foot is made out of gold. Fucking Robbie Gould from the 49ers. He really showed up real well last year. No idea what the Bears were thinking getting rid of him. very fortunate for your 49ers to pick him up. But if he stays healthy, he's definitely a top 5 kicker this season. I don't think they'll have to rely on him too much just because you guys have so many weapons on offense. But he's just, when you need some good points or whatever for extra points or whatever, and eventually they'll have to kick field goals. But I think he'll be the number 5 clutch kicker this season.
All right. Number 4, this guy got a little bit fallen, a little bit down. This guy, year in, year out, is consistently a fucking phenomenal, solid kicker. I'm going to go with Justin Tucker, number 4. What's to say about this guy? He's consistently good. I got to keep him in the top 5. I got him a little bit lower. But no particular reason. I just wanted to put him there.
Interesting. So for my number 4, I'm going with Greg ZUERLEIN with the Dallas Cowboys. Same thing how Ben kind of described earlier. They will be getting in the end zone, probably not as often as they would in the past. It really depends. They just had dipshit signed as tender or whatever. Dak Prescott just signed his tender or whatever. So, or whatever the hell it's called. But anyways, he's gonna be playing their quarterback this year. So it just really depends. But he's a very good veteran kicker. He's dependable. I figured when Dan Bailey left, I figured they were going to be a shit creek without a paddle. But he's definitely stepped in and proven himself. So I got to give him at number 4. So back to you.
All right, number 3, I have Robbie, good for gold, making the leap into the top 10. I know. Everybody's going to watch this. You're such a homer, man. Every single list you got a 49er on it. Well, -1, let's just receivers. But I almost had him in there. But maybe he's not going to bounce back from the foot injury. Might have had Deebo Samuel up there. But when you have a fucking solid team that's still intact from the Super Bowl run, you're just going to fucking keep going up. Sky's the limit. Yeah, like Bryan was saying, he came in clutch. Definitely came in clutch during the Saints game when I was there live. That was fucking phenomenal. Good for gold is that's his fucking nickname. Good for gold. He's consistently good. He kind of had a little bit of a lower than normal, but we haven't used him as often as we needed to because we're obviously a better team than what we first started with the rebuild. And we've rebuilt, and we're going to keep built. And, so that's why good for gold's number 3.
That's a good pick, though. If I would have never had him at 5, I probably would have got him up a little bit higher. But like you said, he's good. He's definitely good for gold. So, so my number 3 pick is Will Lutz from the New Orleans Saints. He's been pretty accurate. He's been definitely dependable. I look for them to probably use him a lot more this season just based on the fact that, Drew Brees is another year older, depending on if they bring in famous Jameis or they'll bring in freaking Hill to play quarterback more often than Drew Brees. I guess it all really depends. So did notice a lot last season that they, had a lot of 3 and outs towards the end of the season. Not so much in the beginning, but towards the end, like you could just tell that offense was just like teams are either figuring them out or they were just getting gassed, which is unheard of usually for offensive wise. But I really do see that him, taking over the majority of the points when it comes to kickers. So that's why I have him at number 3.
So my number 2 is Harrison Butker. That's a funny name. He's a kicker for Kansas City Chiefs. He was one of the top kickers last season in PPR rankings. I look for him to stay pretty well consistent around the same spot. I think he was, second last season too?
Yep.
So Yeah.
All right. Well, so then.
No, he was number 1, so he drops to number 2 for me.
Oh, he was number 1 last year. Okay. So me, the same with you, Harrison Buckner. He's actually been pretty decent. You know, I had him on my fantasy league a few years ago, so he's been consistent all those years, and that was before really when Patrick Mahomes even got really good and started or whatever. So, I see with them, you know, like I think they're going to be a high-scoring offense still. So I think they're going to be using him a lot. You know, the offense is going to be scoring a lot, so definitely going to be kicking a lot more field goals and extra points next season. So you got to have him at number 2. So,
right. So my number 1 is the guy that got number 2 last season. Top 2 switch. BUCTKER goes to second. Will Lutz for me goes to number 1. The reason why Will Lutz goes to number 1 for me, with the simple addition of Emmanuel Sanders, and that fucking offense is just loaded, son. It's hard to argue against the Saints being in the championship with my 49ers, unless they get another fucking bullshit call that's costing them the playoffs like they had the past 2 seasons. I feel bad for the guys because they do, and they are bullshit calls. It's fucking frustrating for him to be a Saints fan, but I can't complain too much because I'm a Niners fan. But yeah, well, that's number 1. They're gonna be sniffing the end zone consistently, a lot. How can you not? You have fucking Michael fucking Thomas, can't guard Mike. The guy is fucking phenomenal receiver. He's coming out fucking explosive these past few seasons. And then, of course, Emmanuel Sanders, I've said his name quite often in a lot of these podcasts. I still hold him in high regards. I think he did very well for us, you know, even if we signed him for just the second half of last season. But, I mean, what little time he was there made pretty big impact and made a pretty big impact on me. I mean, he was already good in Denver, but I liked him better in San Francisco, obviously. But now he's in the Saints. Nothing but up. I mean, he's got fucking Drew Brees to fucking lob that ball to him. And I can't say enough about Drew Brees as a quarterback throughout his career. This is probably one of my top quarterbacks that I like. Top player that's a non-49er. I hold Brees in high regards because he's a fucking solid guy, solid player. And, yeah, well, that's number 1.
Okay, now that we got Ben's cocksucking out of the way, let's go with number 1. For me, Justin Tucker for the Baltimore Ravens. Depending on whether or not they figure out how good Jackson is, if they can figure out how to stop him, I feel like they're going to be in the red zone a lot more this season. Probably not scoring as much, but you know that's perfect position for Justin Tucker to come in there and kick the either game-winning field goal or just kick like 10 field goals in one game. I mean, who knows? Sky's the limit for him. That's why I'm moving him to number 1, and that's who I got. So, can't say much more than that.
That's who I got.
Who I got. So just remember, everybody, don't be a Jason Pierre-Paul and blow your fucking hands off tomorrow on the 4th of July. Christmas in July for me. So thank you for joining us, and remember to subscribe to the channel if you're new here. Click the bell to follow us, and tell your friends, you know, share our posts, you know, help us out. If you agree with this list, then let us know. If you don't, you think we're a bunch of dumb fucks, go ahead and fucking tell us we're dumb shits. That's not going to hurt us any. We just, you know, more the merrier. That's all I care about. So,
Your goddamn top 10, motherfuckers.
Your final thoughts, Ben?
See how fucking intense you guys are getting me for not fucking saying much of shit, you fucking lollygaggers.
I know not very many people like to watch, you know, 15-plus long-minute fucking podcasts.
They're not that fucking long. Get out of here. Don't watch fucking Joe Rogan and fucking Pat McAfee for 2 hours.
An hour, yeah. Well, I mean,
Granted, we ain't
we're
got
not
the
doing
production level of those guys or the celebrities. We will someday if you guys fucking like and share a video enough, then we'll have fucking celebrities on our shit. Some athletes. What do you think about that? Do you think that would be cool? I think it'd be cool. So maybe share our videos and get some likes so we can get noticed by these athletes.
On that note, thank you guys for watching. And like I said, leave a message in the comments below if you think we're a bunch of morons, and just go ahead and fucking like and share this fucking video. So thank you again for
And
listening.
also, if you don't like us, go fuck yourself.
On that note, thank you for watching the Ben and Bryan show, and have a safe holiday, fuckers.
I'll still love you even if you guys talk shit. Just comment.
All right, peace.
Do something.